What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. So, we have a lot to talk about. A lot of you have asked me to cover this. It's a lot of difference in opinions, it's a lot of very, very unrelatable scenarios. And I think I want to start there with Amberlynn, with Chantal, with myself, with anyone you're watching. I think a lot of it comes down to, can I relate to this person? Outside of reaction channels, Grow World, can I relate to this person's content? I think that a lot of times when you have a channel start to kind of lose viewership, the first thing they try to do is try to be relatable, right? That's common sense. Hey, people aren't as interested in my content as much. Let me find a way to draw them back in. And I'm going to do that by finding some common ground so that they can watch me more comfortably, longer, and feel a better connection to me as a creator. Amber's tried to do this a variety of ways. Obviously, not a lot of people can relate to Amber's size. Not a lot of people can relate to Amber's lifestyle. So what she has tried to do is bring in side characters, a lot of them relationship based, and pets that allow you to feel connected to her. A lot of times she tries to champion her journey, if you will, to get the same mindset. However, she hasn't really been successful on that journey, so people gradually start to lose interest because they see someone not being successful. Now, in a nutshell, Amber has moved back home after being away from her mother for a very long time. And in my opinion, they are slowly integrating her mother onto the channel as a side character, if you will. Now, Amber has a very important responsibility in doing this because she, of course, has been online. She understands the way things work. And I think we all can agree that families should be off limits, but in many cases, they're not. For some reason, there's other channels, there's commenters, variety of people in this space that love to go out and dig into someone's personal life and then run back to their channel or someone else's channel and post all these things, true or not. And I suppose they feel empowered by doing this. So it was primarily Amberlynn's responsibility to go to her mother and say, listen, if anything has happened that you need to talk about, we need to address it in the beginning because as you become ingrained in my channel, people will find these things out. People will post and talk about these things, and it is going to create a problem for us. The problem being we want people to watch our channel. We need to have revenue come in, and this could be a detriment to that from a business perspective. So that, not personal opinion, is the business aspect and the responsibility aspect of Amber and Amberlynn Reid Incorporated. She fails to do both of those things. So we then learn that the mother has horrific, unspeakable charges. And this community has always been very, very much about the protection of animals. And we learn that some of these charges are involving the possibility of an animal losing its life. Amber then elects she is going to be the one to come out and discuss this. And she does it in what I would say is the worst way possible. Because at this point, the only person we should really be hearing from is the mother. The reality is simple. We know that Amber wasn't in contact with her mother for a long time. It would appear that these charges were actually done during a time Amber wasn't with her mother. And to be fair, as hard as it may be in a situation like this, if we can go back to being relatable, how often as a child do you have control over your parents and their actions at this age? Probably very, very little. So even if Amber was in the situation, it's unlikely she could have done anything to truly prevent it. Rather than have the mother come out and take ownership, accountability, be the person that says, listen, I moved on with my life. The past is the past. If you choose not to support us based on this, we understand. I've moved and will continue to move forward. Amber elects to come online, very dramatic, very upset, crying about this invasion of privacy that's taken place. But again, the invasion of privacy took place because Amber failed to act responsibly when putting her mother on her platform. She then attempts to divert responsibility away from her mother, saying, well, some of these charges aren't even accurate. All of that conversation should have been had with her mother in the audience, if she is the one that is to be on the channel currently and going forward. Moreover, this is not going to go away until it's addressed. And I think a lot of people want the person responsible, which would be her mother, to be the one addressing it. But instead, Amber has to come out and act like she's the victim, act like she's been subject to something that is completely unethical. No, the charges are what's unethical. I don't really think anyone cares too much about the jail time because that's just obviously there because of the charges. I think people care about the type of person that they're watching online and decide through that whether they're going to consume their content or not. And Amber knows this. Amber knew this. So there was a risk and reward, if you will, for her, Amberlynn Reid Incorporated, of bringing her mother on the channel. And she's now fully leaned into the risk aspect of this. Now, all of that said, I think when I watch Amber as of late, there's larger concerns at play as far as what's going on with this content. Because from the outside, I see a mother that very much likes to gamble, constantly goes out to bingo, and was bringing her daughter along with her. And for a short period of time, that was okay. I felt like bonding a little bit. They're around each other, they're interacting each other, they're making up for lost time. But now it kind of seems like there's an addiction, there's a vice there that the mother has that now she's incorporating the daughter into. That also works hand in hand with the fact that now they're doing a lot of taste tests. The mother has food waiting for Amber in the car. They're going out and they're having these meals together where Amber is just sampling foods. I think, again, with the perspective of this is clearly someone that has problem with food, has came online and established they have a well-documented history, if you can't just tell by looking at them, with food, that there's a real problem with both of these parties now completely giving into the problems they have and using each other as a way to kind of support that problem. And I think that's ultimately where she's going to see even more now a dramatic downturn in viewership because, quite frankly, no one wants to support a creator that has a person like this on their platform. No one wants to support someone that isn't honest with themselves or their audience or take accountability for what they've done. And I think the more that they kind of take this very poor approach of, woe is me, look what the internet did, everyone needs to realize more and more that, wait a second, you might not have had control over anything before, Amber, but you had complete and total control over this entire situation, and you failed to act responsibly, not only for yourself, but for your mother. So you were the last one that gets to sit here now and act surprised that any of this happened because you are the one that should have known beyond anything else there was no way this wouldn't come out. And when it did, it was going to be very, very bad, understandably, for you, your channel, and your mother. And you should have had a plan already in place in case it did come out of how you were going to address it. And instead, it appears you haphazardly kind of threw a video together, crying in the video, blaming everyone else in the video, trying to make yourself out to be a victim when you were anything but that. The victims, thankfully, have already had their stories told years ago, and I would hope have had some type of justice served. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching. I'll be back as soon as I can with more commentary.